Alright, welcome back to SpeedGaming Marathon for Not Hungry. I'm Ghost Empire, also known as un Fantasma más, and well, this is gonna be my first Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back run. Looks like German was the language picked by all the people who are watching the marathon right now, which is something I really appreciate a lot. I know that people likes to see this game in German for meme purposes, in will of memes. There's no lie about that.
Crash Bandicoot 2. Cortex schlägt zurück. Drücken Sie zum Beginn die Starttaste.
Yeah, well, definitely the language doesn't affect at all the gameplay. There are just gonna be some small differences, well, some small stuff we're gonna be watching in late game. So, I'm gonna assume that we are ready to start. So, well, let's start with the countdown. 3, 2, 1. Okay, the timer is in minus 12.9, since this game is SDA time, which means that once I get the control of Crash, suppose that the timer starts. So, let's go, let's start. We're gonna be starting here at Turtlewoods, the first stage of the game. Comparing this with Crash Bandicoot 2, with Crash Bandicoot 1, there were a lot of things that were implemented. Crash 1 was mostly a linear game, but here you can pick between 5 stages on each warp room, and this began the new formula for all future Crash games from this point. But at the same time, and this game, for this category, I'm just gonna be playing all the stages in the intended way, and when intended I mean with the in the order that all stages are, except for the 4th warp room. We're gonna be watching that later on the run. Plus, one of the new techniques that were implemented was the slide in the game, as Crash just was able to jump and spin on the first game. And now you may be wondering, okay, so why is Crash sliding and spinning? Well, this is the main movement technique of the game, called neutral slide spin, or NSS to abbreviate it. The way that this works is that the way that this works is that once we make the slide, we get the maximum amount of speed that Crash can have. So, each slide of Crash is faster than regular walking. But if after the slide we release the D-pad or analog stick, whatever we are using to move Crash, what is going to happen is that simply when we release the input of the movement and we spin, we're going to be keeping the speed of the slide. So that's the way we are gonna be moving. It's a mix between slide spinning and simply releasing the D-pad or analog stick. So that's why it's called neutral slide spin. But at the same time, you may have seen that I have skipped one of the Echo masks. If you're wondering why I have done that, the reason behind that is because unfortunately in the game, if you get him into the invisibility pace, Crash is gonna move slow. Look like that was a small mistake that the developers didn't consider well. They maybe missed it out when they developed the game. Well, when things happen like that. So simply, I don't need to care about keeping or having all the masks on this game, as I can damage boosting sometimes in order to save a small amount of time, because we need to remember one of the golden rules of speedrunning, that if there's something that can help you to save one frame, that's something important too. Sometimes it can be important, sometimes not, but in all speedruns, every frame matters. I'm talking about frames. This game is running at 25 FPS, and well, now I was a victim of a usual problem with Crash games called drop the inputs, which it's self-explanatory. Because unfortunately on the original trilogy of Crash, there are some frames where the game simply is gonna ignore your inputs. That was the way that the game was developed. I don't know exactly the reason behind it, but that's a fact, definitely. I knew that was going to happen, but anyway, this is a marathon marathon lab. I haven't played these games since Sunday, I guess. Yeah, since last Sunday, because I run this game, well, like a week ago. I have run this game on Retrotone from Retro Gaming Live, and I haven't gotten enough time to practice the game after that. So also shoutouts to RGL people who all the time work together with SpeedGaming, and also later on the event we're going to be having an RGL blog, so highly recommend to watch it. They always have amazing runs to showcase, plus also all the runs of the event are really good and interesting. It has been a really fun marathon up to this point, and this is just the second day of the marathon that it's starting right now, so we're still having a good big stuff to enjoy in the rest of the event. Well, I was talking about the frames. I said that this game was running at 25 frames because this is the PAL version of the game. That's the reason why at the main screen we have a language selector screen and 5 languages to select. Usually speedrunning talking about retro games, we're used to teach the PAL versions as those run slower, at lower frame rate modeling, because NTSC games runs at 60 Hz and PAL game runs at 50, runs 70% slower. But why on Crash 2 we run the PAL version? Well, it's really interesting because when Naughty Dog was developing the game, they were aware about this difference with PAL versions of the game. So for this game they decided to increase Crash's speed, so Crash moves faster on the PAL version instead of the NTSC counterpart, and this was made in order to compensate a bit the slower frame rate and speed that PAL games have. So I mean that if we apply the natural lock speed, if we consider the walking speed as a 1.0 speed, on the NTSC version with the neutralized speed you will go to a 1.4 speed, and on PAL version you go into a 1.7. And also there are some stuff that are really affected by PAL standards in the game, such as some bosses are slower on PAL rather than NTSC. And there are some cool tricks that can be performed on the PAL version that you cannot do on the NTSC, or well, are easier to perform on PAL version rather than on NTSC. We will be watching some of that stuff later. Right now we are at Crash Dash. This is the 5th stage of the game, and this is the chasing stage. This kind of stages comes back from the first game, where we got similar stages like this. Okay, I thought I jumped earlier. We're gonna say that I jumped earlier and that wasn't right. I have died, but fortunately I haven't died, so it's something really good. So let's talk about the category. This is any percent no game over abuse. Any percent because it's intended any percent root. And no game over abuse is because there's a glitch in the game that basically, if on this case since I got a crystal on this stage, if I lose all my life and I get a game over screen and then I continue the game, and for example I haven't completed the first stage of the game and I go to that stage and I completed getting the crystal, when I get outside of the stage I'm gonna get both the first stage and this stage crystals, because the developers forgot to add a line to the game code that explain the buffer memory from all the tokens and elements you can get in the stages. I think that game over abuse saves like 2.5 minutes, between 2 to 3 minutes, comparing this with no game over abuse. So basically this is the intended way to beat the game on the any person route that was considered by the developers. Now this is Ripper Room, the first boss of the game. This boss also was featured in the first Bandicoot game. Really simply and goofy boss. What he's gonna do is that he's gonna start to jump on specific spots on the floor. Those spots are gonna turn into TNT boxes, and the TNTs are gonna explode and make damage to him. And after that, he's gonna be putting some nitros on the floor, and he's gonna break those boxes, and he's gonna make damage by himself. So after that, we just need to get close to him, a spin, and there we go. The spots are the same every time, so this is not a problem in order to beat this boss. So fortunately, the pattern is not RNG based. And for 3 hits, where's them? And that was the first warp room of the game. Now we're gonna move to the second one, and we're gonna be starting at Snow Beast, which is the second stage of the game. Sorry, the first stage of the second warp room of the game. So, an intended 90% route in order to beat the game. We need to get all 25 crystals and defeat Cortex. That's the only requirements to beat the game, and for some reason the game slowed down there. I don't know why. Oh well, maybe I know why, because I'm playing this on a PSTV, so basically the game is getting emulated. And sometimes there can be some emulation glitches. But sometimes I get a bit worried about those freezing, because there are some times where those freezes can appear a lot, but that's not like a big problem, fortunately. The worst thing that can happen is that the game crashes, but that just happened on the first warp room. I think that has happened to me like 4 times on the PSTV. PSTV is the fastest platform. It loads the game slightly faster than a PS2 with fastest speed and mode enabled. But it has this advantage that since it's an emulated game and we're using a wireless controller, the possibilities of having more drop inputs get increased. That we consider that the game drops your inputs by its development nature. Obviously, this is not a good combination for a lot of people. But usually, if you cannot import a PAL PS2 and a PAL copy of this game, if you're from an NTSC territory, like in my situation, so I'm from Mexico, the cheapest way to get a fast speed is just getting a PSTV. But nowadays, PSTV is a bit complicated to locate. I don't know if it's still being pricey or not. But people always have alternatives to play the game on a fast speed, and I load fast speed to make it runs. Now air crash, another mix of water biking stage or water sliding. I don't know exactly how to define this concept. So why I will try to lie about something I don't really know and I don't know how to explain properly. Life is a risk, carnal. There we go. I thought for a moment that I was gonna die because I'm never sure about which pattern I get with those platforms, because after a while those go underwater, and you have seen that they were underwater after I stepped on the first one. But I made a glitched high jump, which is basically perform a slide, and after that just press the jump and spin button, and with that you're gonna be jumping slightly higher than the intended way. Also, I made some zigzagging, because if you make the zigzag with a neutral slide spin, also you can get a slightly faster speed. Also, sweet! If somebody hasn't understood why I say subin, which is going up in Spanish or something like that, is because, well, we're now riding Hura, which is this little polar bear. So the way that we're gonna be moving faster here is that I'm gonna be pressing the circle button in order to go faster. Also, I can press the R1 button, but in this case I prefer to press the circle button. So we're gonna be making a boost, and before the boost finishes I'm gonna be jumping. So I'm gonna keep the speed of the boosting on the air, so this is the fastest way to move these stages. We're only having 2 of these stages on this run. There are a total of 3, but since the other stage has a gem, we don't see that here. The gems are only required for the 100% category of the game, which I hope that I can present on a future edition of this Nordic Hunger Marathons. I am still learning the category, so hopefully, I hope that later on this year I'm able to began running because I have been a bit busy on last months, so I haven't been able to work on new speed projects. And after Buried, we go to Crash, another chasing stage. We are gonna be watching 3 chasing stages and all the run. And usually in these longer stages is where the dead abuse is used on the game over abuse category. So if you wanna learn the proper, well, you wanna see a proper example about dead abuse on gaming, that's a good tutorial to show, or well to see. Also, I hope on a future I can learn it in order to showcase it. I work on splits for the category some years ago, but I never learned it. And also sliding on the ice is faster, but we don't have so much ice sections on the game. Now the Eel Deal, and we began with my favorite song from all the game. And also this is stages are long. And we're gonna be getting some water sections with some electrical eels. I don't know if that's the correct name of that animal. Suppose that I want to say eel, but I don't know what I have said or what I have said. It doesn't matter that I have received damage. No crystals here. Now we need to go left. Just wait for this little guy before we begin moving. Life is a risk, Kernel. Now that we have beaten all 5 stages of the second war room, it's time to go to the second boss stage. In this case, Komodo Brothers. We're only having bottom Mo and Joe. And I skipped this faster. Okay, hopefully nothing bad happened, because if you skip the first cutscene really quick, there's a chance that you can enter into a glitch state where it doesn't matter if you are pretty away from Mo. He's gonna make you damage until you die. That just used to happen to me mostly when I have 2 masks. So you have seen the way that we defeat these guys is that Mo is gonna make that joke against spinning. If Joe stops spinning, we need to perform a spin against him. So he's gonna hit Mo, and after that Mo is gonna start to throw these weights. I don't know, I'm the kind of person who always forget his breakfast, so don't expect from me so much about remembering how some stuff are called. here. In this case, I needed to be a bit away from Joe, otherwise he wasn't gonna stop spinning. Moving on, we go to Plantwood, in first stage of this sort of the war room. And also, you may have noticed that on the third stage of the game, which is NKH, there was an in-game timer at the bottom of the screen. Well, this stage also has an in-game timer, and mostly that is to get in. That's a signal that if you finish the stage before that timer runs out, you're gonna get a gem, and that gem can be a core gem or color gem that can help you progress in the game to secret zones. But gems are not required, so I just can simply skip those gems without problem. So in this case, I don't need to get worried about the in-game time. In this case, just to be a bit safe, I'm gonna be catching 2 masks. Because here we need plus 1 for a damage boosting section. Because we have here some piranha plants, but if I use one of these masks, I just can do damage and go ahead. Because it's supposed that we need to defeat them, and after that we're gonna be able to progress into the stage. But that's slower, so that's the reason why I prefer to make this damage boosting. Now, sooner or later, again, the best song in the game, in my opinion. Okay, I need to wait for the cycle of that guy. Those soldiers are really annoying. Those enemies are really annoying, but just in case that I have an active mask, I can damage boosting. But in this case, I'm not using it against this guy because I prefer to be safe with some additional enemies we're going to be having right now. So again, we have some active mask, but I just simply gonna keep going ahead here because we need to destroy these things with those enemies, but that's slower. So I just prefer to do damage boosting. I kept additional mask because we don't know if we're gonna need it. Because here, you know, at the end of the stage we have another one of these enemies that simply is gonna annoy us. So with that, I just make a damage boost there, and I make another one here. Okay, that was my mistake. I saw that the eel was attacking, and I decided to. Okay, this is really bad. We're gonna be losing more time. My PB is 50-46 if I remember correctly. So 56 minutes on estimate doesn't sound so crazy. Mostly all of those mistakes are considered into this. Yeah, because my problem is that I got stuck and I wasn't able to see properly the water, so I haven't put attention, and that's the reason why I have died there. Now, bird down. Next, well, the last bear stage that we're gonna be watching in the game. And also, sweet! I haven't explained what I have to say that, I just said what those don't mean. Well, basically, I'm the public boss in my country and also in other countries of Latin America. There are 2 people, usually the driver and the catcher, the guy that who you pay in order to ride the bus. So usually, when you're close to boss stop and one of the characters see you, they just simply shout "Subin" in order to indicate to the boss driver that he needs to stop because there are people waiting to drive the boss. I don't know why that happened, but it happened. And maybe the best explanation for that is because I just simply moved Crash to the wrong direction. But don't blame the player, blame the game. And also dying on these stages makes you lose a big amount of time. It looks like I missed one of the checkpoints. Now, Road to Ruin. The first ruin stages of the game. I don't like so much these stages. These are not annoying to complete at all. But I will say that these are my less preferred stages in the game. Okay, that was an interesting grab input. Yeah, durable, last stage of this battle platform, and then we're gonna be facing the third boss of the game. What? Oh, okay! Okay, that's something interesting. Am I running this game also? Yeah, because I have mentioned at the beginning of the run that I played this game on Retroton this year. And since that run I haven't played because I was busy, so I haven't practiced the game, and I'm having some mistakes, but those are not really bad. Are the kind of usual mistakes that are considered to my estimate. So maybe I will be running another game on the Retroton replay on our GL channel, but it's really interesting. I must say that this is a big coincidence that I'm running right now a game on this marathon and I'm appearing on a replay of another marathon at the same time. I don't know, that's an amazing coincidence. I need to check that after this, definitely. Well, durable. Last chasing stage we're gonna be having, but instead of having a big snowball, we have Mama Bear with us, and also Subin. This is gonna be the last moment we're gonna be seeing Pura. And also, you can go a bit out of bounds, but I'm not so quite good at that. But I was able to do that on a small section of the stage, so something really good, I guess. Oh, really interesting. Okay, that's my Pac-Man World run. I have run Pac-Man World here also on Not King Hungry, but on last year edition. So it's really impressive for me. I mean, what a coincidence. But yeah, I'm Fantasma, also known as Fantasma Mas, also known as Ghost Senpai, or simply as Ghost. And now Tiny Tiger, third boss of the game. Be sure to follow also SpeedGaming channels and also my Twitch channel, plus donating money for a good cause. Okay, that was not a good pattern. So, Tiny Tiger, this was a new boss as Komodo brothers included on this game. The way that we defeat him is really simple. We just need to keep jumping over these platforms, and once we see one of these platforms turning red, that means that platform is gonna fall down. So we need to make that Tiny goes to that platform. It's really interesting. I mean, I say that's a nice coincidence. And also, talking about Virtual Gaming Live, they will have a block on the marathon, I think on Saturday, if I remember correctly. And well, I mentioned at the beginning of the run that I used to do all stages in order, but on this warp, the fourth worm is the only one where I don't go through the intended order of stages. And the reason behind this is because the first stage of this warp on stage 16, that stage has only one mask, but it has a slow section that is faster if you have the invisibility pace. So I'm gonna be completing another stages before hanging out, because I think it's hanging out at the end of the stage. Well, I will try to complete one of these stages and finishing it with 2 masks, because with that I can go to stage 16 and I can use the invisibility paste for that slow section. I used to not being really consistent with that, but recently have been able to. I think about my Red Button run I also got this. I got it without problems. And also, well, the game dropped my sliding input. That was really interesting. And if you spin crash and move really quick after that seed explodes, you can avoid the damage. You need to be really quick and also begin moving in order to save yourself. And well, the order of stages that I used to do, considering that hanging out is the stage I complete, is 20, 17, 18, 19, and 16. If for any of those stages I ended up with 2 masks, I will go directly to that stage. Not suppose that I was gonna do that, but mistakes were made. So what I'm supposed to do is that once I came here, I just go inside of this in order to avoid the bees. And then at the same time I explode the nitro boxes. The nitro boxes, sorry. And well, the first stage that I do are this with bees behaving and digging it. So the other stage was just hanging out. I just wanted to make sure about the name on the stage. Fortunately, these are the two only stages that has bees. The last stage has 5. This just has 1, and it's good because those are really annoying enemies on this game. Now, so there's a good chance that I can finish this stage with 2 masks, but at the same time, I don't feel so comfy because I'm really aware about how I am. It's more problem. I have more chances to finish Cold Hard Crash, which is the stage again, with 2 masks. and instead of this, but I will give it a try because sometimes I got involved in some troll situations by the game, and sometimes I like to take some risks. Like on that situation with that fences, usually I used to lose one of the masks there. I'm really happy, I'm really glad that hasn't happened. And sometimes also my timing is not so good on that with that fence, which also I used to lose one mask there. But again, let's not feel, don't feel so confident about this. If I can finish the stage with 2 masks, it's good. If I can, well, at least I tried. But I have another stage where I can do that. So that's something that doesn't worry me a lot. And also shoutouts to that random body slam. And don't worry, this thing doesn't kill you. Here we go. It has been a long time that I was able to finish digging it with bot masks, so I'm really glad about that. So let's move to hanging out. Now I need to be really careful, as I don't want to lose the masks. So I'm just gonna do this slightly safe. Because those enemies and also those toxic barrels are a bit troll sometimes. Also, I'm not gonna take risks on that section. Because as you can see, this section on the rails, crash movement is slower. So there's a section where we can go faster on this. Because it's the only time where invisibility phase is used. As you can see, now that I'm trying to do the slide spin, my movement was slow. So that's the main reason why you don't go for the invisibility phase. But now here on the rails, this was the only faster section, because here I'm trying to perform the neutral slide jump and it simply doesn't work. Sorry, the neutral slide spin. Neutral slide jump is the crash tree technique. That was so close. It's still fine. That's the only section in all the entire run and all the entire game where the invisibility pace works for something. Now Cole has crashed. Well, renation, because now we're here. Because why not? I mean, now it doesn't matter so much the order. You know, so maybe this is the stage that I really hate the most from this warp run. Maybe the second stage I hate of all the game in general. And yeah, now that I'm remembering this, my PB is at 5046. And that's a PB that I got earlier this year because I was part of a relay called 1545 Any Person Restricted, where I submitted this game and I was selected to run it, which I was really surprised that I got accepted with this game. And after 3 years of playing the game seriously, I was able to get a PB, which I'm really happy about that. Because that was the kind of PB I was looking for, well, since a long time ago. Here it doesn't matter if I lose the masks, definitely, as the important stage with the mask has been completed. And also I prefer to do this safer. Just waiting for the returning platforms now, so keep moving, otherwise Crash is gonna slide down. Slide down. So we have seen what happened when you don't get the checkpoint. And I went to try to catch that mask when I was still having the spin animation. That's why the mask just flew away. But well. Now I just need to complete Full Hot Crash, and with that we're gonna be facing the fourth boss of the game. It was Engine, and after that I'm gonna be explaining which is the plot of the game, because this game begins when you finish the first game on the any person route, which is when you defeat Cortex. So now Cold Hard Crash, another interesting thing is gonna happen on this stage, because there's something called dead routes, which basically are alternative platforms that it's platforms that spawn and take you to another path on the game, with a secret route that sometimes has some boxes or has a gem. In this case, it has a gem and boxes. Let's do this stage, right? I'm gonna get the invincibility base, thanks. And this is a platform. This is the only stage on the route where you get a platform. And as this is like a minute faster comparing it with the regular route of the game. So in case that I die, I need to quit the stage and re-enter to it. Well, in my time zone actually is 3:32 AM, so good morning, I guess. And yes, the nitros are a big pain, plus also this thing, but since I actually completed hanging out with the mask, I don't care if I lose the masks anymore. So I need to be careful with those hedgehogs. Because if they take their... Well, because I need to reach them on an animation where they're not on attack mode. And there we go. Now let's keep moving. It's now time to face Engine, which is the new Ollie that Neo Cortex got in this game. And the first game was Nitro's Brio. But now Brio is a good guy on this game, and I'm gonna be explaining that after I defeat Engine. So here we're gonna be having 5 different phases for Engine. Come on, I was trying to break both of his arm. Okay, I was able to avoid the regular attack, the regular racing beam attack. The problem for me are the shoulders. So unless you break his arm, you need to destroy his shoulders. There we go. I have been getting better on this boss. I'm really glad about that. Oh my goodness! Hi, speedrun fails! Well, so what happened there is that I moved on at the wrong time, because the hitbox for the missile was still active, so that's why Crash died. That was the first time that that has happened to me. And also small freeze because the game is loading the next engine phase, as the developers never had in mind that there was gonna be one of these days where a player was gonna be able to destroy both arms at the same time. Oh, come on! Why am I not being able to do this? This is really bad. Yep. All subscriptions, bits, and donations goes towards charity. And also, people in the chat voted for this.
Alter Cortex, ich würde über Ihren Widerstand nicht erfreut sein. Dein Sohn wird sich rächen.
Now, last warp room. We're getting close to the end of the run. And well, based on the words of the guy who has the world record on the 100% category, this is where my run turns into a gameplay with a timer. I used to do this really safe, as a lot of bad things can happen on this section. Unfortunately, there are no invisible walls here, compared with Insane Trilogy, which were the remakes of these games. The original trilogy. And well, the plot of the game. So what is supposed Crash needs to do, or what's what we're doing? So as I've mentioned before, this game begins once you complete the first game. Once you defeat Cortex, I don't know when I'm getting stuck there. Once you defeat Cortex, Cortex falls into an island and into a mine on an island, and he discovered a Master Crystal. So he decides to use its energy to dominate the world. But after 1 year of research along Engine, his new ally, Cortex was told that in order to be able to use the energy of the Master Crystal, he needs to get all 25 sleep crystals, but since Cortex doesn't have any army on the Earth left, that's why he decided to call an enemy, in this case Crash. So Crash and Coco, now we got introduced Coco, which is Crash as a little sister. She was introduced, and her laptop ran out of battery when both were on a beach. So Coco requests Crash he was able to get a new battery. So Crash went on the duty of helping his sister, but he falls into a trap that Cortex put on the planet. So now Crash is warped into a warp room, and then Cortex tricked him that he doesn't have so much time to explain things, but he needs to collect the crystals in order to help Cortex to stop an evil force that wanna destroy the world. Basically, that's the plot of the game. But obviously, while we progress, we get noticed that obviously that was a big lie from Cortex. Was at the same time, when you get a gem, you get an additional cutscene where Nitrous Rio tells to you that in your journey to get all crystals to find a gem. That was really interesting, but if you keep collecting the crystals, you're gonna turn into Brio's enemy. He's gonna do everything possible to stop Crash. So he asks to us to, instead of collecting all 25 crystals, we need to collect all 42 gems that the game has. But that's like an impossible task, because in order to keep progressing into the game, you need to get all the crystals. Yeah, some stages has 2 gems, and also there are secret stages that has gems. So again, I hope that on a future edition I can bring the 100% category of the game, because it's really interesting. And now, night fight, we get back again into the kind of stages of the first war run, but now, as the name suggests, it's pretty dark because it's in the night. And now we have these insects that are gonna lie our way. So with that, we're not gonna be going so blind. And right now I run out of anything that I can provide to the conversation, so good morning, good afternoon, good night, good evening, wherever you are in any part of the planet. What's up, how you doing? Are you enjoying the marathon as well? How have you feel that the event has been going right now? We're getting close to be 24 hours long. This is the second day of the marathon, of Donkey Kong Marathon. We're still having a good amount of amazing stuff to watch. Yeah, you know, back attack. We're getting closer to the end of the game. Sorry, I was moving the camera just to center myself for a bit. I don't know, being on a jackpad on space while enjoying this relaxing music. Also, that thing that I'm doing with that enemy, that's an exclusive glitch for the PAL version. If you try to do it in TSC, you can bypass the enemy, but once the enemy began sparking, you're gonna die. You're gonna receive damage. So that's not so good. But for some reason, doing this on the PAL version doesn't affect you. But at the same time, don't feel so comfy. Just remember, people, we're still having a good amount of prizes, and you can win. You can have a chance to win if you donate to the event. If you go to speedgaming.org/prizes, you can see all the different prizes that you can win. If you donate for a good cause. It's fine that I have lost the mask. I have received damage. Unfortunately, Space Out doesn't have masks, so I need to be careful from this point. This is my worst stage by far. And also there are cool incentives. There's an incentive for the Chrono Trigger run that we're going to be having later on the event that hasn't been met, so if you donate, you can put your money towards any of those nice incentives that we have for the next runs of the event. So with that, you can simply not just bring more additional content for the event, but also you're gonna keep benefiting the Donkey Kong organization. With a command NKH, you will have all the required links you need in order to know the objective of No Kid Hungry, and also you get the bot schedule and donation links. It's free to do it, and it's just done it for a good cause. I really don't like those enemies with those shields, but I'm really surprised that this wasn't bad at all, so bad at all for me. Oh no. And Cortex, this is gonna be like a 54 if everything goes fine. which is gonna be fine for me. So, in order to beat Cortex, what we need to do is that we just simply need to spin 3 times against Cortex. The first one, and the fire on his jetpack changes, so that's a signal for us to see if we're in a good spot to make him damage, and that was something really dumb by my side. I'm doing this really bad. Well, just bad, not so bad at all anyway. And now, it's supposed that I was gonna finish there, but since I received damage, now this is gonna be my problematic hit. So let's see what I can get. Time.
Nein! Dir werde ich schon noch zeigen, Crash Bandicoot!
Crash, was ist wohl mit Cortex geschehen? Und was ist mit der Cortex? Die ist noch da oben.
And fun fact also, right now I went again to RGL channel, and now I am on the last boss of the game. That's really good. Very good. But well, with this, my only run of the event has finished, and thanks for GG's. I really hope you have enjoyed this humble run. I will drop again the NKH link, so you can have them and the links in order to see the schedule and get more information about the event, and also donate to the charity. Well, I'm gonna keep working on backstage, since I'm gonna be setting up the next runs that we're gonna be having on the next hours. So keep enjoying the band, keep enjoying the marathon. Remember that we're doing this for the love of gaming and good causes. And also don't forget to follow the SpeedGaming channels. And well, as I mentioned some months ago, this was my only run of the marathon. So with this I say goodbye on screen, but I will keep working on backstage and setting up runs and adding some stuff to the SpeedGaming system. So well, with all this said, thank you so much to everybody for being here, and keep enjoying the marathon, because the show just haven't even started. We're getting close to be 24 hours live, so let's keep going with this. And oops, hold on, now I see that I forgot to deactivate my stream alerts. I'm really sorry about that, but well, also it's the reason why it looked really big and almost outside of the screen, but it was because I used to stream at 1080p, but for the marathon I switched back this to 720p, as the instructions mentioned. Oh well, let's don't expect so much this, and let's keep moving for the next one. It was Go Senpai, and see you people. Have a nice day.